So with the Brewfest event this year, a ton of new cosmetics have been added, a large chunk of which are purchased with the Brewfest prize tokens. This includes things like a bunch of kind of more random transmog. There's actually a recolor of the full dwarf inspired set that we recently got in the trading post, where it even has the different shoulders. You can either have shoulders with like the cloth on them or the kind of floating crystals. So there's a full recolor of that set. You have to buy every piece separately. There's tons of other miscellaneous transmog. There's some toys. There's a bunch of pets you can also sell. All of those taking the Brewfest prize tokens. So in this video, I want to go over the absolute best farm to easily farm up these prize tokens very quickly to buy all of these new cosmetics. And this is using a method I've gone over with previous holiday events where you will essentially be creating a new allied race or any of the races that will start you at level 10 to queue up for the holiday boss, defeat that boss, and then essentially delete that character, create a new character, and do it over again. Just this one specifically is going to have another step. So essentially how this is going to work is you're going to create a Dark Iron Dwarf. I think this is just the most efficient race to do this on. And what I would recommend is two different things. First off, create a shaman. You're going to be going in restoration spec, which for whatever reason allows you to just do some pretty crazy damage as a healer. You can also just queue up for the holiday boss as a healer to be able to get in queues almost instantly. But the second thing you're going to be doing is keep the same name for every one of these new characters you create. So when you go and create your first Dark Iron Dwarf to do this, choose a name that's easy to remember and constantly type in. Because if you go and create that character, go do this farm once, log out, delete that character, and then create another Dark Iron Dwarf with the same exact name, it will actually save a bunch of your settings. So it'll save your UI customizations, it'll save your settings like auto loot and things like that, just to speed up this farm and make it a bit more efficient. Now, once you're in game on that character, you're instantly going to queue up for this holiday event boss through the dungeon finder. You're going to then select your spec, select it as restoration. You're going to put all of your abilities on your bar, which is essentially just some damaging abilities. Also put chain heal on your bar, because if you or anybody else in the group actually gets low while doing this boss, which isn't common, you can just chain heal once and it'll pretty much fully heal everybody. And then while you're waiting for that queue to pop, you're going to walk forward in the area this race starts on, and there's going to be a mole machine. Just click on that. That will take you to Stormwind. And once you get to Stormwind, you're going to put one of your flying mounts on your bar. And because you're level 10, you're already going to have dragon riding. So while you're also waiting for the queue to pop, you're going to get on that mount and dragon ride over to the Brewfest area, which is outside of Ironforge. And while you're flying there, your queue will pop. You'll go into the dungeon, defeat the one boss that's in there, make sure to loot him, leave it. And once you're out of that dungeon, you're going to fly to the Brewfest area. The reason you're doing this is because the first time you defeat this boss, you're going to get a quest that you just go to the Brewfest area and turn in, and that will give you a majority of the Brewfest prize tokens from this farm. You'll get like 10 to 15 tokens from the boss. Also make sure to open up the barrel you get from the boss. This will give you your tokens. It can also give you random items, one of which is a BOE offhand that you can actually sell for some gold, and you can also get some additional cosmetics from that keg that the boss gives you. And then make sure to turn in the quest you get from the boss. So doing both of these things of turning in that quest you get from the boss and opening the keg you get from the boss will give you 50 to 55 tokens every single one of these runs. After you've done both of that, you're just going to summon your warband bank. You're going to put the prize tokens into your bank. You're going to log out, delete that character, create a new Dark Iron Dwarf with the same exact name, rinse and repeat. And that's all you're going to be doing. You're just going to be cycling through these new Dark Iron Dwarfs, getting these 50 plus prize tokens every cycle of this you do. And then once you build up enough tokens, you're just going to go spend them all at the vendor. And you're going to have to get legitimately thousands and thousands of these tokens to be able to get all of the new cosmetics from these vendors. And that's if you also don't care about getting things like the pets, which you can also sell a lot of these pets. So if you want to do that for some additional gold, you can actually keep doing this farm. But but just getting the one-time cosmetics is going to cost you thousands of these tokens, and you can do these runs in right around like 4 minutes, depending on your load time and depending on how quickly you can get into the dungeon. It can sometimes take longer because of like people randomly declining the queue and things like that, but I would say on average it was like 4 minutes a run, which is pretty good. It shouldn't take you more than like an hour or a couple hours to get pretty much all of the cosmetics from this vendor. Also, keep in mind, if you're trying to go for the new Brewfest Barrel Bomber mount, you can only get that for your first kill on your account per day. So doing this farm will not give you a higher chance to get that, but there are some other cosmetics you should be able to get from doing a farm like this, which primarily consist of items that have always dropped from this boss. So you can get the Great Brewfest Kodo, you can get the Swift Brewfest Ram, you can get the Dire Brews Remote, which is a 1-hour cooldown item that just teleports you to the Grim Guzzler. And then you can also get some weapons that will give you transmog. One of these weapons being the offhand that's BOE. There is also another tankard that's a main hand weapon, so it's a one-handed mace that I think is still BOE, so that can be sellable as well. All of those items can be obtained no matter how many times you open up this keg from the boss. And there are 2 items you can only get your first attempt per day on your account, which one is the Brewfest Barrel Bomber, like I mentioned. The other is the Brewfest armor for the customizable Proto Drake from Dragonflight. So keep all that in mind. There are some additional cosmetics you can get from doing this farm as well. But that's all you really need to be doing to pretty easily get pretty much all of the new cosmetics for the Brewfest event in 2025. And like I mentioned, that recolored armor set, and like I mentioned, that dwarf-inspired recolor of that armor set is really nice looking. That was the main reason I actually wanted to do this farm. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.